Hey everyone, Materim here with a special treat for you. A bunch of us were hanging out last night when my wife Alicia got the rare itch to play a quick game. So Michael grabbed one of my Empire armies and decided to face off against her in a quick 1500 point battle line. It is one of the rare times we see the Orcs and Goblins on the field, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. I do apologize in advance if my voice is a little rough. I am getting over a cold, so it may kind of go in and out on us a little bit. So here is our board. Pretty simple. It's important to notice that both of the hills on either side are scree slopes. The tower at the top is a tower of blood. And the little pyramid down sort of in the middle there is a sorceress portal, though it didn't really come into effect. The little green idol near the Orcs and Goblins deployment is an idol of Mork, but again didn't come into play terribly much. So other than that, it's a pretty open board. So let's go ahead and get into deployment. So starting in the back there for the Orcs and Goblins, we have Grom the Paunch, who is serving as the general and BSB, I think. In front of that is a Mangler Squig. Next to that is a unit of 20 Night Goblins with short bows, 3 Fanatics, full command, and in front of them is 5 Goblin big bosses with great weapons. So a little Goblin character wall action going on. Then up on the hill we have a Goblin Doom Diver. Then we have a unit of 20 Squigs with 7 Handlers. Then another unit of 20 Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics, full command, and a level 4 Night Goblin Great Shaman in there as well. So on the Empire side, we have a unit of 20 Swordsmen. There is a Warrior Priest in there with the White Cloak of Ulrich and an additional hand weapon. There are 2 5-man archer detachments there, and in the archer detachment in the red and blue is the level 4 Wizard Lord of the Lore of Heavens that is serving as the general. Behind that is the little guy by himself is an engineer. He has pigeon bombs and the grenade blunderbuss. And up on the hill is the Hellstorm rocket battery. You can see next in line after those detachments is the Celestial Hurricanum and a unit of 16 Spearmen with full command and the BSB in there. And I don't remember if he has any magic items or not, but it's generally low equipment on both sides in this game. Then after the Spearmen, there's a detachment of 5 handgunners. And beyond that is a unit of 5 Knightly Order Knights. They're not inner circles, so they're just the normal ones. And there's a standard bearer and a musician in that unit. And then you see in the center, he has a unit of 10 Halfling Huntsmen. There is a musician and a standard bearer in that unit as well. So the Empire gets first turn, and the first thing they do is move up the Huntsman just a hair. Wants to keep them outside of the range of triggering the Fanatics, but wants to try and put some shots into the Mangler if he can. And also wants to be able to essentially leap on the Mangler if it starts to come out before it gets to be too much trouble. And everything else is very conservative. The Spearmen, the Handgunners, and the whole group here with the Swordsmen come up a little bit, and the Knights swift reform and start moving back towards the middle, because I think the Empire player got a little bit out deployed and needs those Knights elsewhere. Okay, so during shooting, the Halfling Huntsmen do manage to actually get 1 wound off on the Mangler Squig, so definitely good tidings, though not nearly enough. So with nothing else going on of consequence, we go into the Goblins' turn, and the Mangler Squig just doesn't quite want it bad enough to get the Huntsman. Ends up stopping, like it was a quarter of an inch away, and then they back up an inch. So I think Michael commented that the Halflings are now shitting themselves at this point. And the Night Goblins, who pretty much through the whole game had a really good run with animosity, no real problems, start moving up aggressively here. Those Manglers are just for what everybody has on the board, they're probably the most dangerous pound for pound unit on the board. She really needs to get it into something, but now she's close to this now, so they have frenzy and hatred, so they've become even more dangerous. So she just wants to get it into something and start eating them. And then over in this side, very little movement here. Grom the Paunch sort of Tokyo drifts a little bit so that his 18-inch effect range is going to touch more than just the unit in front of him. So the Orcs Goblins choose not to cast any magic this turn because their caster is way off on the side. So we go into shooting, and the 5 shots from the Night Goblins here end up killing one of the Halfling Huntsmen. And then a well-placed Doom Diver shot ends up knocking 2 dudes out of the Swordsman and 4 out of the Archer unit as she landed them literally touching both units, so that was messy. Luckily, though, the Wizard General and the one last Archer did not fail their panic test, so they're still going to hold steady. So we go into Empire turn 2, and the brave halflings leap on top of the Mangler Squig and destroy it, being reduced down to a single member carrying the flag of the Fighting Cock. But in doing so, got within 8 inches of the Night Goblin unit, so the Fanatics got released. None of them hit him, but he then fails his panic check from the unit being destroyed and starts running, but only goes 2 inches. So he's trying to escape, but that is a very dangerous area now with all those Fanatics in it. And then on this side, the handgunners make it into the building, and you see they're checking to see if the edge of the building is within 8 inches of the Night Goblins to see if those Fanatics are going to get triggered. And yes, they are. So 3 Fanatics go spinning off to the side there. None of them hit the building and die, so they're still floating off in that general direction, which is going to cause more problems for the Goblins than it is anybody else, I think. Then over here, a Spearman holds steady, and the Knights reorient themselves to face forward. The Mage joins the Swordsman unit, and the one Archer runs forward to be further chaff and maybe jump on a Fanatic. And during shooting, the front Fanatic is actually taken out by Archer fire. Then during shooting, the Hellstorm rocket battery gets off 2 rockets towards the Squig herd and ends up scattering really far, so that it was going to hit the Fanatics but not much else. So he decides to use the Engineer's power to re-roll his scatter die and gets a misfire, blows up the Hellstorm rocket battery. The Engineer panics and runs off the board. So bottom of 2, the Squig herd start off by charging into the building with the handgunners in it. And the Fanatic shoots up within, as you can see, centimeters of hitting the poor halfling and fails to do so. The other one ends up rolling doubles and choking himself to death. Then on the other end, one hits the building and dies. The other one zooms through the Squig herd and kills 2 of them. And the other one zooms up and comes literally again centimeters from hitting the building, but he's okay. And then here in the middle, you pretty much have some readjustments and not really much aggressive movement out of the Goblins. So magic, all the Goblins do is lower the initiative of the handgunners to 1, so they're just going to get eaten without doing any damage back. But in shooting, Archers take out 1 of the 16-man Spearman unit. And then the Doom Diver lands on the Knight unit and annihilates them to a man. Wow, that Doom Diver is an awesome war machine. And in close combat, the Squig herd goes into the building. A fine red mist pours out the windows as... it was just with them being frenzied from the building, those 5 handgunners stood no chance whatsoever. So we go to Empire turn 3, and the Archer makes the ultimate sacrifice to kill a Fanatic. The poor little halfling continues to run for the border. And the Empire force starts moving up. He knows he's going to have to get into combat with something soon, and I think wants to do it before those squig can get out of the building. So he is moving up a little bit and just kind of changed the position of the swordsman so that he could get a better look at the goblin forces for the use of his magic, which so far has been pretty lackluster. But during magic this time, he gets the big version of Common Cassandora down and puts it here. And I personally think he's getting a little greedy. He needs to get rid of the Doom Diver, but he decides to basically put it somewhere where, with a good roll, he can hit everything. But he's going to need at least an average roll to hit anything, and the goblins will have a chance to get away from it. So I don't know if this is necessarily the best placement ever. Um, So that was pretty much it. Nothing else happened during the Empire turn 3. So Goblin turn 3 starts with the the squig herd coming out the back of the building to get behind his lines. And here the remaining two fanatics slam into each other and kill each other. And now that the fanatic minefield is gone, the goblins with the character wall and paunch come up very aggressively, ready to face off the now frankly weakened Empire forces. And the other goblins moved up a bit, but this is to show you during the magic phase the comet came down and he ended up rolling 4 inches. And since of where he put it in, nothing got hit by it. So the first good magic he's had and the Empire's had this game ends up coming to naught because of bad spell placement choice. And then the Night Goblins get a great magic phase and end up doing Curse of the Bad Moon through the Spearmen, killing about half of them, and the Chariot putting 1 wound on it, and that big template is where it ended up. So that could potentially be a very bad day for the Empire if it keeps bouncing around back there. Then during shooting, the Doom Diver lands right on the Celestial Hurricanum, but only inflicts 1 wound, so definitely got lucky there. So we go into Empire turn 4. The swordsmen attempt to charge the Night Goblin unit. They fail, and the Scree Slope kills 2 of them with dangerous terrain. But successfully here in the center, both the Celestial Hurricanum and the Spearmen end up charging into the front of the Night Goblin unit with the wall. So not sure how they're going to go here. The Celestial Hurricanum's pretty terrible in combat, but it was pretty much going to die anyway, so he needed to hopefully get some damage in with it. So we'll see how that goes. The Halfling here fails to rally and continues to run. And the archers here turn around to start taking pot shots at the squig herd. So magic starts off by the Curse of the Bad Moon sweeping back the other way, ends up killing 1 of the archers, and I think 1 of the handlers out of the squig horde, and ends up behind the building now. And then during combat, the Celestial Hurricanum actually inflicts 6 impact hits on the Night Goblins. The Night Goblins then net everybody, so it's going to be an uphill battle for the Spearmen to do anything. The BSB declares a challenge against, and one of the Night Goblin big bosses accepts, and they kill each other. And then there's not really much else they can do. The rest of the Night Goblin big bosses kill the Hurricanum, but because of the way the challenge was fought, no one else could touch the Spearmen. So the Goblins ended up losing this one, but they were steadfast with Paunch right behind them, so they didn't break. And then this is after the reform, where everybody is kind of matched up nicely again. So start of Goblin turn 4, Paunch Grom the Paunch slams into the Swordsman unit. And then over here, the Squig Herd reform to stare at the archers, and the other Night Goblins enter the building. So all that really happened in Magic is that the Goblins ended up canceling the Curse of the Bad Moon, so that it wasn't going to come back on them, but then they failed to get any further spells off. So during shooting, the archers end up taking out 3 of the human archers, who break or two of the human archers who break and run here, and because he ran through Grom the Paunch, another one died from dangerous terrain. And so, after the Doom Diver misfires and kills itself trying to get to the last archer, we go into close combat, and the characters and the Night Goblins just absolutely massacre the Spearmen. But the Spearmen run 11 inches, and the Night Goblins only run 6 to catch. So that's where we are there. And then in the fight against the swordsman, the chariot does some impact hits. I think it was like 3. And then the warrior priest challenges Grom, and they basically whiff on each other. Grom, I think, gets 1 wound through, but it was Grom won the battle, but the swordsmen were steadfast and didn't go anywhere. So, top of turn 5, the halfling is continuing to run, and so is the spearman, and so is the archer. So we go into magic, and the warrior priest tries to cast a spell, and the Night Goblin shaman uses his cursed scroll to turn him into a frog. Which of course means that the close combat is very one-sided, and Grom's wolves in the chariot end up eating the frog. But again, the swordsmen are steadfast and don't go anywhere. So bottom of turn 5, the Night Goblins charge the one remaining spearman and chase him off the board, and then the Squig Herd tries to charge the flank of the swordsmen and fails their charge. And here you see the Night Goblins also came out of the building trying to get a shot at this guy and just weren't there. Champion jumps up and declares a challenge from Grom and takes it. Again, swordsmen are steadfast even after he gets the crap beaten out of him, and they don't go anywhere. So, top of 6, the halfling runs a little bit more, but is not going to make it off the board before the end of the game. As is the archer. The archer continues running, but he's nowhere close to the end of the board. It was strange. Normally, the sorceress portal here throws fireballs at us like nobody's business, but this time it was just doing Plague of Rust, which nobody gave a crap about. And finally, with no other chump blockers to deal with, Grom finally breaks the swordsman unit, runs them down, but ends up taking dangerous terrain, and the chariot ends up being destroyed by the dangerous terrain on the hill. So Grom's all by himself at the top of the hill. But he did run down the last unit that the Empire had. And here is just an overview of the board at the end of the game. Only thing that the Empire player has left is that one archer from the detachment and the one halfling that's not even in this picture. Pretty sweeping victory for the goblins. So it was a pretty crushing victory for the Night Goblins. Gotta say, it's always fun seeing Alicia's army on the board. Not only they look beautiful, but it's just such a different army from anything any of the rest of us play. That it's nice to see the goblins show up. I know Michael had a great time playing her, and even though he did get his butt kicked, it was a lot of fun. We definitely enjoyed it, and it was a great game to watch. I also like it that it was a lower point value game. We don't do those terribly often anymore, so it's nice to see sort of the kind of crazier stuff that comes out at the lower point value, particularly with the 50% Lords and Heroes. These were some pretty strong characters at that low point value, and the Goblin character wall is kind of ridiculous. But all in all, it was a fun game. We got to see it, and I know there are several fans of Alicia's work and battle reports, and hope you guys are happy to see her playing again and getting in a battle report every now and again. But if this is the first one of these you guys have seen, please subscribe to the channel, leave any comments. I do my best to answer all the comments that we get and answer any questions. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.